My name is Sarah Mahalik. I'm doing my project on Dorothea Dix. Dorothea Dix was born in 1802, the eldest of 3 children. In some accounts, her father was called a religious fanatic who distributed religious articles that Dix was forced to help make. Other records say that her mother was depressed and that her father was an abusive alcoholic. No matter what is the case, Dix did not have a happy childhood, which I believe is part of why she dedicated her life to helping others. At the age of 12, she moved to Boston to live with her grandmother, Dorothea Dix. Dorothea Dix is shown to the right. Dix's grandmother encouraged her interest in teaching, and Dix began teaching as a young teenager. A couple years later, she opened and operated her own school. Dix had poor health, which required her to take frequent breaks from teaching. During one of her hiatuses, she began writing and published a few books that taught maxims and good morals of the era, which is why they were successful. One of her books is shown to the right. Once Dix's health affected her teaching too much, she closed her school and traveled to England. There, she stayed with a politician and reformer named William Rathbone. She met a prison reformer named Elizabeth Fry and the founder of a retreat for the mentally ill named Samuel Tuke. Her grandmother's death provided Dix with a large inheritance. That and the royalties from her books provided her with enough money to live a comfortable life. Then, Dix moved back home to her grandmother's house. Back in the U.S., she began teaching Sunday school to the female inmates at the East Cambridge jail, shown to the left, where she saw how inhumanely the mentally ill convicts were treated. Upon seeing the poor living conditions in the East Cambridge jail, Dix decided to work to improve their conditions and to improve the way the mentally ill inmates were treated. She began by touring many public and private facilities in Massachusetts that housed the mentally ill. Dix recorded all of her findings. Prisoners who had been flogged, starved, chained, physically and sexually abused by their jailers or keepers, provided with no heat or forms of sanitation, and who had been locked in cages like the prisoners shown to the right. Then she appealed to the state legislature through a memorial she wrote, which galvanized a larger movement to improve conditions for the mentally ill. Though the Massachusetts legislature increased its budget to expand the state mental hospital, Dix was not satisfied. She then toured the country and documented the conditions and treatment of patients in other facilities. She also campaigned to establish humane mental asylums through memorial speeches and more. Dix founded or helped build additions to hospitals in many states, the first hospital being the New Jersey State Hospital, shown to the right. She founded or helped build additions to hospitals in 12 other states. She also traveled to Europe again, where she recommended reforms in many countries. She actually met with Pope Pius IX, who ordered the construction of a new hospital for the mentally ill after hearing her report. Outside of her campaigning, Dix served as the superintendent of nurses in the Union Army during the Civil War.